Okay, thank you everyone again for attending this webinar. This presentation is about a desktop study that Grant Brown completed a couple of years ago now about using direct drive variable speed fans to reduce energy use. So, hang on. There we go. The study was supported by AgriFutures Australia and the Queensland Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. We'd also like to thank the people who supplied the fan test data for us to do the analysis with. It's probably not a surprise to most of the people attending today that there's a range of variable speed fans available for ventilating meat chicken sheds. Most of the companies now have got a variable speed option to go with their traditional single speed belt driven fans. So it's just a matter of, if you're interested in these things, going having a look at the different options that are available on the market. At the PIX 2018 conference, most of the suppliers there had an example there, and there's certainly a lot more interest now in variable speed fans than there was before this desktop study was undertaken. So first of all, the variable speed fans, the difference between them and the traditional fans on meat chicken sheds is that they can run at multiple speeds. In particular, they slow down. And when you run them at a low operating speed, they're far more energy efficient. So to get the benefit out of them, you need to be using them at the lower ventilation rates. So the advantages that the variable speed fans have over single speed fans, there can be energy savings, there's no belts or pulleys for maintenance, you get smoother transitions in ventilation level in the shed because you don't have fans turning off and on, you have these fans ramping up and ramping down, and most of them have a better power factor which can result in power cost savings on your bills depending on how your bills are set up. Some of the challenges associated with variable speed fans is they're more expensive to purchase to start with. Most of them are 2 to 3 times the cost of the traditional single speed fans. And to update from single speed fans to variable fans may require some different wiring and ventilation control system. So the way that these fans become more energy efficient is that as you slow the blades down, the airspeed or the amount of air that goes through the fan reduces in a proportional manner to the fan. So if you slow the fan down by half the speed, you'll get half the airflow. But the power that they use will only be about 1/4 to 1/3 of the power. So the more you can slow them down to a point, the more energy efficient that they become. But at the higher operating speeds, they may not be any more efficient than the single speed fans, and they can be less energy efficient than single speed fans when the variable speed fans are running flat out. But it's not a simple exercise to try and work out how the cost of running these fans will differ in chicken sheds, because the ventilation rate's changing constantly throughout each day, throughout each batch, and throughout the year with different seasons. So we used some data from that we collected years ago on ventilation rates in meat chicken sheds, and we used that data to try and estimate the running costs associated with variable speed fans and also single speed fans. If we look at this data in general, what we find is that the sheds are in a lower level of ventilation rate most of the time, and maximum ventilation is only required for a very small percentage of the year, at less than 10% of the time. So there's a good opportunity there then for ventilation using variable speed fans to take advantage of the better energy efficiency. When we compared the variable speed fans against some of the traditional fans, some of the best results we saw was that you could save about 40% of the power usage. by changing from a traditional fan to variable speed fans. And Grant did some sums, and at the cost of electricity at the time, that equated to quite a few $1,000s over the year per shed. One of the tricks with these fans is that while they're quite expensive, you don't necessarily want to put in just the bare minimum required, because you want to take advantage of running them at lower speed, which means you've got to install more than just the bare minimum. Grant did a bit of an evaluation with this. With one of the sheds, or the example sheds that we were using, we worked out that he could achieve the correct amount of ventilation with 5 fans. And so we worked out the energy use associated with that. But then he also worked out the same ventilation requirement, but using 9 fans, which would allow the variable speed fans to run at lower speed more of the time. And this equated to a slightly better power saving. Looks like about 20% power reduction. So the conclusions and key findings from this research was that there is certainly an opportunity to reduce power usage by using variable speed fans, but you have to make sure that you can use them at the lower speeds most of the time to really get that advantage. So the trick is to try and install as many as you can afford to at the start to take advantage of the lower speeds and the greater energy efficiency. That wraps it up. So for more information, you can contact me, or there's a report available on the AgriFutures website. And there's also a spreadsheet that Grant developed to try and estimate different running costs between the traditional single speed fans and variable speed fans. And the links for those resources are on this page.